Here are the latest 20-part 2 sample answers, predicted to appear in the IELTS Speaking test from March to April 2025. This is episode 2 of a 3-series video. Practice regularly to boost your confidence. You can find the PDF link in the first comment. Want to improve your IELTS writing skills? Check our new IELTS writing channel. Now, let's get started. Question 1. Describe an online video where you learned something new. You should say when and where you watched it, what it was, why you watched it, and explain what you have learned from it.
One online video that taught me something new was a cooking tutorial I watched on YouTube. I came across it while searching for healthy dinner ideas. The video was titled, "How to Make a Quick and Easy Stir-Fry in 15 Minutes." It was uploaded by a popular food blogger. At the time, I often ate takeout, which was unhealthy and expensive, so I wanted to learn how to cook simple, nutritious meals at home. The video was shot in a neat kitchen, and the host explained each step clearly, from chopping vegetables to seasoning the dish. She used ingredients like bell peppers, broccoli, tofu, and soy sauce, which were all readily available in my pantry. What stood out to me was her tip on marinating tofu beforehand to enhance its flavor, something I had never tried before. She also showed how to cook vegetables to keep them crunchy, making the dish more appealing. Beyond learning a new recipe, I picked up valuable cooking techniques. For example, I know prepare ingredients in advance to save time and balancing flavors by adjusting soy sauce and adding honey. The tips were practical and easy to follow. Therefore, they have since become a regular part of my cooking routine. Overall, it was a great learning experience. It improved my cooking skills, encouraged me to eat healthier, and helped me save money by reducing my reliance on takeout food. Watching this video was a small change that made a big difference in my daily life.
Question 2. Describe something in your study or work that makes you feel confident. You should say when it happened, what it was, why it made you feel confident, and how you feel about it now.
One experience that really boosted my confidence at work happened about 6 months ago. I had to give a presentation to a group of new clients, introducing them to our company's services and ideas for their marketing campaign. It was a big responsibility, as this was my first time leading such an important presentation alone. I spent days preparing, making sure I knew all the key details and anticipated questions they might ask. The presentation itself went smoothly, and I felt confident while speaking. I explained each section clearly and noticed that the clients seemed interested, asking questions and even taking notes. Seeing their positive reactions made me feel like my efforts had really paid off. I was especially pleased that I could answer all of their questions confidently, which showed me how well prepared I was. The reason this experience made me feel so confident is because I realized how much I'd grown in my role. In the past, public speaking had made me quite nervous, but this time, I felt in control and focused. By the end of the presentation, I felt proud of myself for delivering everything I'd worked on and for staying calm under pressure. Reflecting on this experience, I feel more capable and ready to handle similar challenges in the future. It showed me that with enough preparation and focus, I can present confidently and build strong connections with clients.
Question 3. Describe a person you know who has strong opinions. You should say who this person is, how you knew the person, what kind of opinions this person has, and explain why you think they have strong opinions.
A person I know who has strong opinions is my uncle. I've known him since I was a child, and we've always been close. He's very outspoken and passionate, especially about topics like politics, the environment, and social justice. Whenever we have family gatherings, he's always ready to share his thoughts and engage in lively discussions. My uncle is particularly passionate about environmental protection. He strongly believes in combating climate change and often talks about reducing waste and using renewable energy. He's made significant lifestyle changes, like adopting a plant-based diet and driving an electric car to align with his beliefs. He frequently encourages others to take similar actions and support policies that protect the environment. Besides the environment, he also has strong opinions about politics and social issues. He supports fairness, equality, and social programs that help disadvantaged communities. He thinks it's important to have better education and healthcare systems. He also speaks out about the importance of progressive government policies. His views are well informed, and he's always ready to discuss them in depth. I think my uncle has strong opinions because he's deeply committed to his values and wants to make a positive impact on the world. He stays informed and encourages others to think critically about important issues. His passion often leads to lively discussions, but they also encourage people around him to think about different views and take action on important issues.
Question 4. Describe a time when you answered a phone call from someone you didn't know in a public place. You should say where it happened, what he or she said, how you corresponded. Explain how you felt about the experience.
I remember answering a phone call from a stranger when I was at a coffee shop last year. I had just settled in with my laptop to get some work done when my phone rang. Seeing an unknown number, I hesitated but decided to answer. It was a delivery driver who couldn't find my house. He sounded slightly frustrated and asked for directions, so I tried to help him as quickly as possible. As I was speaking, I realized my voice was louder than usual because of the background noise in the cafe. I felt a bit awkward since people around me were trying to enjoy their coffee or work quietly. Normally, I would have stepped outside to take the call, but since my laptop was open and I was in the middle of a task, I had to stay at my seat. After the call, I felt relieved that I could help him, even though I was in an inconvenient situation. I also appreciated his patience and politeness, despite the trouble he faced in locating my address. It reminded me that delivery workers deal with these challenges regularly. A little kindness and patience can make their job much easier. I was glad the situation was resolved smoothly. This experience taught me the value of balancing politeness with practicality. Even in public spaces, we sometimes have to prioritize urgent matters while being mindful of those around us. It also reminded me to stay calm, speak clearly, and be patient when dealing with unexpected situations.
Question 5. Talk about an old friend you lost touch with and reconnected with. You should say who this person is, how you lost touch, how you got back in contact, and explain how you felt about reconnecting.
One of my old friends I recently reconnected with is Grace, whom I first met in secondary school. We were close back then, spending time together after classes, talking about everything from homework to our hobbies. However, as we grew older, our paths diverged. She moved away for university, and I stayed in my hometown. Between our studies and new friends, we lost touch over the years. A few months ago, we unexpectedly reconnected through social media. I saw a post of hers pop up on my feed, and it brought back so many memories. I decided to send her a message, and luckily, she replied right away. We ended up having a long chat about the past, our lives since school, and the things we're both passionate about now. It felt surprisingly natural to talk, even after so much time had passed. After chatting online, we decided to meet up in person when she visited our hometown. Catching up face to face was even better as we could talk without any interruptions. We laughed over old memories and updated each other on our current lives, and it felt as if no time had passed at all. Reconnecting reminded me of all the good times we'd shared and how friendships, even old ones, can always be rekindled. This experience taught me the importance of reconnecting with people from the past. It was heartwarming to realize that even after years, we could still share that same bond. Now, we try to keep in touch more regularly, and I'm grateful to have her back in my life.
Question 6. Describe the most expensive item you have ever bought. You should say when and where you bought it, what it was, what you used it for, and explain how you liked it.
The most expensive item I have ever bought is my Ford SUV, which I purchased 4 years ago from a dealership in my city. At that time, I was looking for a vehicle that was spacious, reliable, and comfortable for both daily commuting and long-distance travel. After doing some research and test driving a few models, I decided on this Ford SUV. It was quite a big investment, costing me $45,000, but I believed it was worth the price. I primarily use my SUV for commuting to work on weekdays. Since my workplace is not very close to home, having a personal car has made my daily travel much more convenient. In addition to work, I also use my car for grocery shopping and picking up my children from school. Having a spacious SUV makes carrying groceries and other items much easier. Aside from daily commuting, I love traveling, and my SUV has been a great companion for road trips. I have driven to several scenic destinations with my family and friends, creating unforgettable memories along the way. The car's smooth handling, comfortable seating, and modern features make long drives enjoyable. Plus, it has low maintenance costs, which is a great advantage. Overall, I am very satisfied with my purchase. It has been reliable, easy to operate, and economical in the long run. Looking back, I feel that investing in this SUV was a great decision, as it has provided both convenience and enjoyment in my daily life.
Question 7. Describe a cultural place you visited, like a library, museum, or theater. You should say where it is, when you went there, what you saw and did there, and explain why you enjoyed it.
One cultural place I visited recently is the National Museum of History. It located in Ottawa, the capital of Canada. I'd wanted to visit it for ages, so when my friend suggested going on this summer, I was excited to explore everything it offered. Inside, we started with the ancient history exhibits, which showed items like pottery, tools, and sculptures from early civilizations. Seeing the craftsmanship up close was fascinating, and I enjoyed learning about how people lived in those times. There was also a section on local history, showing how the country has changed over the years. One of the highlights was the interactive exhibit on ancient technologies, where we could try replicas of old tools. This made history feel more touchable. In another area, the museum focused on art and culture, displaying a variety of paintings and sculptures. I especially enjoyed seeing how people's clothing and lifestyles changed over time. There was also a temporary exhibit about global culture with artifacts from different countries. This definitely gives us insight into diverse ways of life. Overall, visiting the museum was a memorable experience. I left feeling inspired by everything I learned. It made me appreciate how much there is to discover about history and different cultures. It was also a meaningful day spent with my friend, who enjoyed the experience just as much as I did.
Question 8. Describe a person from whom others like to ask for advice. You should say who this person is, why people like to ask for his or her advice, what kind of advice he or she often gives, and explain how you felt about the person.
One person that people often go to for advice is my grandpa. He's a retired professor who has spent many years teaching and learning. He knows a lot about different things because he reads a lot and has had many life experiences. Even though he's really smart, he's very down to earth and easy to talk to, which makes people feel comfortable asking him for advice. People like asking him for advice because he's such a good listener. He doesn't just jump in with an answer, he takes his time to really listen and understand the situation. He's never judgmental and always makes you feel like your thoughts and feelings matter. His calm and patient way of listening helps people feel safe opening up to him. He often gives advice about careers and life choices. His students ask him about things like which career path to take or how to deal with work problems. In our family, we go to him when we're unsure about big life decisions, like changing jobs or handling personal issues. His advice is always thoughtful and practical, but he also encourages us to think for ourselves and make our own choices. I feel really lucky to have my grandpa in my life. He's so patient and wise, and he's taught me how important it is to listen and think before giving advice. Knowing he's always there to support me makes me feel safe and confident. He's not just a source of advice, he's also someone I really look up to.
Question 9. Describe a crowded place you went to. You should say where it was, why you went there, who you went with, and explain how you felt about being in that crowded place.
One crowded place I remember visiting was a popular local festival in my city. It was held in the city's main square, which was packed with people enjoying food, music, and various performances. I went there with a group of friends because we wanted to experience the vibrant atmosphere and try some of the local delicacies being sold at the food stalls. I left the festival feeling both energized and grateful for the experience. The square was full of activity. There were street performers, musicians, and stalls selling crafts and food. The crowd was so big that we had to move carefully through it to reach different parts of the festival. Even with all the people, we found a spot near the stage where a band was playing. We enjoyed the live music while trying different snacks. Being in such a crowded place was both exciting and overwhelming. On one hand, it was thrilling to be part of such a lively event, surrounded by people enjoying themselves. On the other hand, navigating through the crowd was a bit tiring, and at times, I felt a bit uneasy with so many people around. Overall, the experience was memorable. The energy of the festival and the joy of being with friends made it worthwhile. Even though I felt a bit overwhelmed at times, I appreciated the chance to be part of such a lively community event. It was a reminder of how music can bring people together, creating a sense of unity and shared excitement.
Question 10. Describe your ideal house. You should say what kind of house it would be, where it would be located, what features it would have, and explain why this would be your ideal house.
The house of my dreams would be a cozy, modern cottage by the sea. I imagine it as a small but comfortable place with large windows to let in natural light and an open layout to make it feel spacious. The location would be on a quiet coast with beautiful views of the ocean, perhaps just outside a small town. I'd love to be surrounded by nature, with the beach just steps away, so I could enjoy fresh sea air and morning walks along the shore. Inside, I'd want it to be simple and welcoming, with a mix of warm colors and natural materials like wood and stone. It would have a well-equipped kitchen because I enjoy cooking, and a small reading nook by a window for relaxation. A highlight would be a balcony or a terrace with comfortable seating where I could sit in the evenings and enjoy the sound of the waves. Another feature I'd love is a garden with native plants and maybe a small vegetable patch. Gardening would be a relaxing way to spend my free time, and I'd love to grow some herbs and vegetables. It would also be great to have a few solar panels to keep the house environmentally friendly. Overall, this type of home would give me a perfect balance of comfort and nature. Living by the sea in a cozy house would be a peaceful and refreshing escape from the busyness of everyday life, allowing me to recharge.
Question 11. Describe a movie you watched recently. You should say when and where you watched it, who you watched it with, what it was about, and explain why you chose to watch this movie.
I watched Forrest Gump last weekend at home by myself. It's one of my all-time favorite films, and I've seen it many times since I was in high school. I just felt like revisiting it because it always leaves me with a sense of hope and comfort. Watching it alone also gave me the chance to fully focus on the story and reflect on its meaning. The movie follows the life of Forrest Gump, a man with a low IQ, but a kind heart and incredible determination. Despite facing many challenges, Forrest achieves remarkable things in life, from becoming a successful businessman to meeting the president. His simple yet profound outlook on life helps him overcome obstacles and inspire those around him. The story also explores his love for Jenny, his childhood friend, and how their lives take very different paths. I chose to watch Forrest Gump because I've been going through some personal challenges recently. Life has felt a bit overwhelming, and I was looking for some motivation and comfort. Forrest's famous line, "Life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're gonna get," reminded me that life is full of surprises, and sometimes you just have to go with the flow. What I love most about the movie is how it shows that success isn't always about intelligence or status. It's about kindness, resilience, and staying true to yourself. The film's message about staying positive and not giving up really spoke to me. It left me feeling inspired and more hopeful about handling my own problems.
Question 12. Describe a time when you helped a family member. You should say, when it happened, who you helped, how you helped, and explain how you felt about the experience.
Last spring, I helped my sister Lily when she was having a really tough time. It was her last year of university, and she had a big paper due in a month, but was way behind. To make things worse, she had just broken up with her boyfriend, so she was heartbroken and feeling pretty low. On top of that, she was trying to find a job but wasn't getting any interviews, even though she'd applied to loads of places. She was completely overwhelmed and stressed out, so I knew I had to step in and help. First, I helped her get organized. We sat down and made a plan to manage her studies and job application. I also gave her CV and cover letters a bit of a makeover to make them more polished. Then we did a few mock interviews so she could practice answering questions confidently. Additionally, I cooked balanced meals for her to make sure she was eating well and had the energy to focus. It felt good to see her slowly getting back on track. In the end, it all paid off. She managed to finish her paper on time and got a great mark. Even better, she landed a fantastic job in a nearby city. Seeing her feeling more confident and happier again was such a relief. It felt like everything we worked on had really made a difference. Helping Lily through all that made me realize how important it is to show up for family. It strengthened our relationship, and it also taught me that sometimes a little support and encouragement can go a long way.
Question 13. Describe a person you know who works in a medical career. You should say who this person is, what type of work they do, how you know this person, and explain why you respect them.
One person I know who works in the medical field is my cousin Sarah. She's a nurse in Toronto Regional Hospital, and her dedication and patience truly inspire me. Sarah and I grew up together, and even as a child, she was compassionate and cared deeply for others. Nursing suits her well, as it allows her to use her kindness and empathy every day. Sarah works in the emergency department, so her job is fast-paced and demanding. She handles a wide range of cases, from minor injuries to serious emergencies, and often works long hours, sometimes overnight. Despite the stress, she remains calm and professional, telling me that helping people during critical moments makes her job worthwhile. Her commitment is clear, and she genuinely cares for each patient. What I admire most is Sarah's resilience. She faces difficult situations, but has learned to cope by relying on her team and maintaining a positive attitude. She also believes in keeping a positive attitude and tries to bring comfort to her patients, even if it's just with a kind word or smile. Knowing Sarah has given me a lot of respect for those in the medical field. Her dedication and strength remind me of the importance of compassion and hard work, and she motivates me to apply these qualities in my own life.
Question 14. Describe a prize you have received recently. You should say what the prize was, when you received it, why you received it, and explain how you felt about it.
One of the most memorable prizes I received recently was for a public speaking competition at work. About 3 months ago, during an annual event, Employees were encouraged to showcase their communication skills. I delivered a 5-minute speech on the importance of teamwork in achieving success, presenting it in front of colleagues and senior management. The prize was a beautifully designed trophy with my name engraved on it, along with a certificate of recognition. I also received a gift voucher for a popular bookstore, which was a pleasant surprise since I love reading. Winning this prize meant a lot to me because it wasn't just about the reward. It was about being recognized for something I was passionate about. The effort I put into preparing my speech, practicing it repeatedly, and presenting it confidently paid off. This prize boosted my confidence significantly. Public speaking has always been a skill I wanted to improve, and receiving recognition for it encouraged me to keep honing my abilities. It also reminded me that stepping out of my comfort zone can lead to rewarding experiences. The support and positive feedback I received from colleagues after the event made the achievement even more meaningful. Reflecting on this experience, I feel proud and motivated. It has inspired me to participate in more such events and continue developing my communication skills. The prize is now displayed on my desk, serving as a daily reminder of the value of hard work and perseverance.
Question 15. Describe a challenge you faced that you thought was rather difficult. You should say what it was, when and where you faced it, why you thought it was a difficult challenge, and explain how you felt at the time.
A difficult challenge I faced was learning to drive. It happened a few years ago when I was living in my hometown. I had always been a bit nervous about driving, but I knew it was an important skill to have. My biggest struggle was with parallel parking. No matter how much I practiced, I kept making mistakes, which really knocked my confidence. What made it even harder was the pressure of the driving test. I had already failed once, and the thought of failing again made me feel really anxious. My instructor was patient, but I could tell I was overthinking things. My hands would get sweaty, and I'd sometimes panic when I had to make quick decisions on the road. It felt like I'd never get the hang of it. After failing the test the first time, I took a step back and tried to stay calm. I started practicing more regularly and focused on staying relaxed behind the wheel. I also asked my instructor for extra tips on parallel parking, which helped a lot. On my second try, I managed to stay focused and pass the test. That moment was such a huge relief. Looking back, it taught me that staying calm and persistent is key when facing challenges. I realized that mistakes are part of the learning process, and sometimes you just need to give yourself time to improve. Passing the test gave me a real sense of achievement and boosted my confidence.
Question 16. Describe a person who likes to read a lot. You should say who he or she is, how you knew them, what they read, and explain why you think he/she likes to read a lot.
One person I know who absolutely loves reading is my friend Emma. She has been a book lover ever since I met her, and I would say she is one of the most well-read people I know. Reading is a defining part of her personality, and she is often seen with a book in hand, completely absorbed in a story. For Emma, reading is not just a hobby, but a way of life. We met in university, where we took literature classes together. I noticed she always carried a book, whether in the cafeteria or waiting for a lecture. Even during breaks, while others were chatting or scrolling through their phones, Emma would be lost in a novel or a pottery. Her dedication to reading was so consistent that it became a topic of conversation among our friends. Emma enjoys a wide range of books, particularly classic literature and historical fiction. To Kill a Mockingbird is one of her favorites, which she has read multiple times. She also loves biographies of authors and world leaders, finding them inspiring. For example, reading about Nelson Mandela gave her new perspectives on resilience and leadership. I think the reason she loves reading so much is that it allows her to escape into different worlds and gain new perspectives. She once told me that books help her relax and give her a deeper understanding of life. Additionally, Emma is a very curious person, so reading satisfies her thirst for knowledge. Overall, Emma is a true bookworm, and I really admire her passion for reading.
Question 17. Describe a time you lost a valuable item. You should say what the item was, when and where you lost it, how you felt when you realized it was gone, and explain if you were able to find it or not.
One time, I lost a watch that was both valuable and deeply sentimental to me. It was a gift from my parents on my 18th birthday, and I'd worn it nearly every day since. The watch had a simple but elegant design with a silver face and leather strap, and it always reminded me of that milestone in my life. Losing it felt like losing a part of my personal history. The loss happened during a weekend trip to the beach with a few close friends. After a day spent relaxing in the sun, I realized my wrist felt strangely light. I looked down and noticed the watch was missing. I remember feeling a pang of panic as I checked my bag, the car, and even retraced my steps back to where we had been sitting on the beach, but the watch was nowhere to be found. Initially, I felt a mix of disappointment and guilt. It wasn't just the monetary value that mattered. It was the fact that my parents had given it to me for a special occasion. The watch symbolized their support and pride, and losing it felt careless. I kept hoping it would turn up and even asked around the beach, but unfortunately, I never found it. I left that day feeling pretty low. Looking back, losing the watch taught me to be more careful with items that hold sentimental value. It also made me realize that, while objects can carry memories, it's the experiences and relationships that truly matter. The loss was upsetting, but it reminded me to cherish the people in my life and the memories we make together.
Question 18. Describe your favorite food at a traditional festival or special event in your country. You should say what the food is, what it's made of, when and where it's usually eaten, and explain why you like it.
One of my favorite foods during traditional festivals in Italy is panettone, a sweet bread loaf traditionally enjoyed during Christmas and New Year celebrations. I love panettone for its light, fluffy texture and delicious blend of flavors, which include candied fruits and raisins. It's not just a treat, but a symbol of Italian holiday traditions that bring families and friends together. Panettone is usually eaten as a dessert or a snack during the festive season. I remember first trying it as a child at a family Christmas gathering. My grandmother would always buy a beautifully packaged one, and we'd slice it up to share after our main holiday meal. Sometimes we'd pair it with a hot drink like coffee or hot chocolate, which made it even more comforting on cold winter evenings. The history of panettone also adds to its charm. It originated in Milan and has become a beloved holiday tradition across Italy and beyond. The story goes that it was first created as a luxurious dessert for the wealthy, but has since become a festive staple for everyone. Eating panettone feels like participating in a tradition that has been passed down through generations. Whenever I eat panettone, it reminds me of the joy and warmth of the holiday season. Its rich, sweet taste and the atmosphere of togetherness that surrounds it make it one of my favorite festival foods. It's more than just a dessert. It's a slice of Italian culture and a symbol of celebration.
Question 19. Describe a person who likes making things by hand. You should say who this person is, how you know this person, what they like to make by hand, and explain why you think they enjoy making things by hand.
One person I know who loves making things by hand is my Aunt Emily. She has always been passionate about crafting, and she spends a lot of her free time creating beautiful handmade items. I first noticed her talent when she gifted me a knitted scarf on my birthday. Over the years, I've seen her work on everything from sewing clothes to designing intricate jewelry pieces. Her dedication and creativity have always impressed me. Emily's interest in crafting began when she was a teenager. She learned the basics of knitting and sewing from her grandmother, and it quickly became a hobby she enjoyed. She says crafting allows her to express herself and relax at the same time. What makes her creation special is the attention to detail she puts into each piece. For example, she once spent weeks designing a quilt with unique patterns that represented different family memories. One thing I admire about Emily is her willingness to share her skills with others. She often hosts workshops for her friends and neighbors, teaching them how to knit or create handmade cards. She believes crafting is not just about making things, but also about building connections and sharing joy. I've attended a few of her workshops and found them very inspiring and enjoyable. Knowing Emily has made me appreciate the value of handmade items. Her work reminds me that creating something with your hands takes time, effort, and heart. It's a wonderful way to make things personal and meaningful.
Question 20. Describe a place you like to visit in your free time. You should say where the place is, what you do there, how often you visit it, and explain why you enjoy going there.
One place I love to visit in my free time is a large park near my house. It's located about a 15-minute walk away, right in the center of the city, but it feels like a peaceful escape from the busy streets. The park has a wide range of features, including open grassy areas, flower gardens, and a small lake with ducks and swans. There are also a few walking trails that circle the park, making it a great spot for a casual stroll or a light jog. Whenever I go to the park, I typically spend time walking around or sitting by the lake to relax. Sometimes I take a book with me and find a quiet bench to read for a while. On sunny days, I like to lie on the grass and enjoy the fresh air. I also occasionally bring a picnic to the park and spend the afternoon with friends, especially during the warmer months. I visit the park about 2 or 3 times a week, depending on my schedule. Since it's so close to my house, it's an easy place to go when I need a break from my routine or just want to be outdoors. I find the park to be especially enjoyable in the mornings or early evenings when it's not too crowded and the weather is cooler. The reason I enjoy going to this park so much is that it gives me a chance to unwind and disconnect from the busyness of daily life. Being surrounded by nature helps me clear my mind and recharge. The peaceful atmosphere, combined with the natural beauty, makes it a perfect escape whenever I need some time to relax and de-stress.
That's the end of today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos.